Color and memory. How color affects memory by Dylan Rothstein and Joshua Niemeyer. Our question is, how does color affect memory?
Our hypothesis for this experiment is color will have a positive effect on short-term memory. Our independent variable was the color of words.
Our dependent variable for this experiment was the quantity of words remembered and written down. Our procedure for this experiment was so. Step 1. Randomly select and ask the participant for consent on recording and testing them. Step 2. Say the first part of the introduction of the experiment to the participant. Step 3. Hand the participant the first list of 10 all-black words. Step 4. Ask them to turn it over and study the words for 40 seconds. Step 5. After 40 seconds, take the list and hand them a blank sheet of paper where you ask them to write down as many words as remembered. Step 6. Read the second part of the introduction. Step 7. Test the participants the same way as done in Step 4 and 5, but with the sheet of 10 randomly colored words. Step 8. Read the third and final part of the introduction to the participant heard in the first video. Step 9. Test the subjects again the same way in Steps 4 and 5, but this time with the words matched with their colors. Step 10. Check and record results for all 20 participants that were tested. Step 11. Debrief the participant about the goal of the experiment when done. And finally, Step 12. Finalize your results to see if color influences memory. Words that help you better understand our project. Number 1. Short-term memory. Activated memory that holds a few items briefly. Miller's magic number for short-term memory is 7 plus or minus 2 bits of information. Number 2. Effortful processing. Encoding that requires attention and conscious effort. Number 3. Serial position effect. Tendency to recall best the last and first items in a list.
Hi, you have a piece of paper upside down in front of you. On the other side, there's a list of 10 words. When I say go, you will have 40 seconds to study and memorize the given words. When the 40 seconds are up, I will say stop and you will flip over the list and hand it back to me. I will then ask you to write down as many of those words that you remember on a separate sheet of paper. Now I will hand you a list of a different set of words that you will once again study and memorize for 40 seconds. Again, when the time is up, you will hand me back the paper and I will ask you to write down as many words as you remember on a separate sheet. Finally, I will hand you another paper with a list of a different set of words and you will once again study and memorize these words for 40 seconds. Again, when the time is up, you will hand me back the paper and I will ask you to write down as many words as you can remember on a separate sheet of paper.
Here are our data and results for this experiment. As seen through the graph, black words only had the highest number of words remembered. That scored an 8.1 out of 10 words remembered. Then came words matched with a specific color that pertained to that word at 7.4 out of 10 words. Finally came randomly colored words at 7.35 out of 10 words. For conclusion, we have decided to accept the null hypothesis that states that color does not help short-term memory. Instead of color improving memory like previously thought, color actually showed to lessen the amount of words remembered. This can be seen from the results where the black-only text had an average of 8.1 words remembered, whereas the others had about 7.4 words remembered. One participant, Min Chi, stated, "The color distracted me from the words and forced me to focus on not only the words, but the color as well." That idea explains why we have decided to reject our hypothesis and accept the null. Also, we thought that by matching the words up with their natural color would aid even more with memory. However, this also was not the case and had the same results as the randomly colored list. To sum it all up, the tests that were completed to see if color had a positive effect on short-term memory ultimately led to the rejection of the original hypothesis. Finally, what we could have done differently in this experiment was number 1, given the participant a designated amount of time to write down the studied words. Number 2, had 2 separate lists of the same words, one in color and one not, and given them to different participants instead of the same participants. Number 3, chosen people who had all had the first language of English. Number 4, test more people to get more accurate results. And finally, number 5, see how color and smell together influence memory, which adds another variable to the equation.